What would you say to people that may think, hey, Bitcoiners are too toxic? What's your argument to say, like, hey, like, yes, Bitcoiners are toxic, but it's helping get the 10 million Bitcoiners? Like, people might think toxicity would mean less than 10 million Bitcoiners. And I would imagine you would argue the opposite of that.
I mean, I muted all 4 people that talk regularly about Bitcoiners being toxic, and then it's just like not a thing anymore. Like it's such a just obvious ploy to get attention for those people to, use some epithet that Vitalik came up with and lob it over against Bitcoiners. It's just like, it's so dumb. It was always such a dumb conversation. So I just ignore it.
Yeah, it's fair. It is funny
I'm a
how
Bitcoiner and like, I just, it's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I remember like in 2018, I feel like I don't know. I guess it started out originally with Vitalik calling Bitcoiners Bitcoin maximalists as an insult. And then in like 2018 and 2017, Bitcoiners kind of like embraced it. And they were like, yes, we're Bitcoin maximalists. And it was kind of funny.
Samson made those dope hats.
Yeah.
Toxic Bitcoin maximalist hats with the hazmat logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, like any epithet, like if a community that's being targeted wants to co-opt it and own it and just have fun with it, like it's totally within their right to do it. And I don't really give a shit if another Bitcoiner wants to call me a maximalist, but I'll stop the interview if I'm on a crypto podcast or a mainstream interview, and I'll explain that's, Maxi is a diminutive of an epithet, and it means you don't know what's going on here. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, the history of the term is just kind of funny.
Yeah.
In the Bitcoin world.
Yep. I mean, what I generally find is these guys have debate backgrounds, and they're good at creating straw men and pretending that there is a type of person that doesn't actually exist, or a position that nobody actually takes, and claiming that that's a position that's actually widely held. And it's just complete mental masturbation on their parts. And maybe it gets, I can name them, like maybe it gets Udi some blockchain consulting revenue or something like that, or, helps Eric gain some AUM for his crypto fund. But like, these are not people, I was disappointed to see Eric follow suit this year. Udi was always like that. Eric Wall, has contributed quite a lot, frankly, to Bitcoin thought. And I think this was just an unfortunate sidetrack, but once he's done with it and wants to come back, I would say, has generally been a genuine participant until this year. But Udi, I just don't have any time for it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Another, I guess, thought leader, quote unquote, in the Bitcoin industry that I liked was Trace Mayer. I think he made like a lot of great videos back when he was, actually a full Bitcoiner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He did his exit scam for whatever reason. I don't know. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I like the way he talked about things. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. I heard Caitlin Long was on a podcast like maybe a week or so ago. And she mentioned that she had talked to Trace recently about Bitcoin and stuff. And I thought that was interesting because he definitely has gone dark. So I wonder what he's up to. Trace, if you're out there, come on the podcast. I'll talk to you.
Come on the pod. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, there are so many voices out there now that you don't need to listen to people whose views are adulterated by bullshit, right? Like, I don't need to point people toward Andreas anymore because there's plenty of people out there that aren't confused and who actually do understand money and economics to a degree much greater than he does. Even though he's a fucking genius and I love his videos and it was instrumental to like my understanding of Bitcoin. And I remember certain videos of his, I used to listen to the YouTube videos more than watch them. And I remember what street I was on and where I was walking or whether I was with one of my daughters. And like when that point was made by Andreas and I sent my parents to go see him live and like all this stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you're also saying there's going to be 10,000 of these tokens and some girl in some village can like create a token that's going to get used as money in her region of a continent, it's like, dude, you don't understand this shit. Like you have massive gaps in your understanding here. And, I think, yeah, I mean, the same goes for quite a few people who were at one point the best we had, but now we have better. Like Roger Ver used to be one of the best advocates for Bitcoin, but he didn't really understand it. and Andreas doesn't fully understand it. And I'm not saying that I do, but I can point to some things that they get dramatically wrong about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah. Bitcoin does have this habit, or the Bitcoin community does have this habit of killing their thought leaders and transitioning to new ones that, some argue are better, some argue are worse, but it is interesting how that continues to happen. I think, again, that's kind of a feature of the community out, there's not really a clear leader. I think that's kind of the
100%. And some of the best people that really do know it through and through, they get tired. So they don't want to be in the Twitter fights. And so then you're sending your B team, and, everyone on the crypto side is on the B team by definition, but they're going up against the B team on the Bitcoin side because the other guys are kind of retired. They're tired of it, so you're not getting Jimmy and Jameson on every single fucking thread.
Yeah.
If you did, you just get stomped out like Michael Jordan in an 8th grade game. Like you just get crushed every single time. But, people like to argue with somebody today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to the idea that a lot of the setbacks or like critiques of Bitcoin were answered on like the Bitcoin Talk forum back in like 2011.
So long ago. Yeah. You can just go back and, you read like, VJ from 2018 or Beauty On from like 2011 or whenever his, some of his first stuff. Like there's so many good things that Hal and Satoshi said, just like answer the questions on first principles and explain how this shit is going to play out. And it has exactly done that in so many ways.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys that I guess understood it or somewhat understood it back then have, thousands of BTC, so they're not on Bitcoin Twitter arguing with each other.
Listen, in 2026, we're going to be talking about people that have tens of BTCs as being filthy rich. And like, another 4 to 8 years after that, it's going to be like anyone with a Bitcoin. It's just going to be, it's just going to be more and more scarce as compared to the number of humans that want some.
Yeah. Exponential scarcity is a wild invention, and we're watching it play out in real time. So it's definitely exciting. I know